Tuesday, this is Tuesday's Daf Fezvav Omer Aleph. Mishnah. Harei Nazir, for a certain person, I'll be a Nazir, we'll finish the end of the page. Harei Nazir, I'll be a Nazir, L'kishi Haley Ben, I'll be a Nazir when I'll have a son. That's promise number one. And then he said, Nazir Me'yon, I'll be a Nazir for 100 days. And then, so what happened was, he didn't know, he didn't have a son yet. So then he started counting his own 100 days. And what happened like this? So Ben Adshivim, if he had a son before the 70 days came up, which means he still had 30 days left over to be able to stop. No, but then he had a son. If he had a son 70 days earlier, then what you learned before is since the main Nazir, so the first one should be about the son. So you pause your own Naziris, you go to your son, and then you go back to your own. Now, so therefore, if you were 100 days, you lost nothing. Big machlek is showing what it means. So according to some of the showing, it means that then you do the 30 days of your son, and that's it. You don't have to continue another 30 days for the 100 because the 30 days of your son is concurrent. It will count for both, and that's not that you need 130 days, and we allow you to pause. It means that you have 100 days, and the last 30 days counts for your 100 and counts for your 30. That's what some Rishonim learn. Others learn, no, it means that that you pause your 70, you don't lose out, you do 30, and then you go back to do the other 30 to make up for the first. If you, let's say it was 71 days, the way we're learning the Mishnah right now, so he said, then you have shivim, then you have a problem. Big Macheg learn. Most Rishonim learn here that Seisha Shiva means, like the way I first tried to tell you, it means that now, since the 30 days for your son is not going to end the same time as the 30 days of the 100. If you were to continue the 100, you would end day number 100. Now that you're starting day number 71, your 30 days for the son will end day number 101. Because they don't end at the same time, they can no longer be concurrent. So you have to do it 131 days. That's what it means. So he says, Kulam. Rashi has his unbelievable shots. Rashi learned that he cancels the whole 70 and you start again. But the Rashi's the only one that says that. And so on. Says the Gemara. Omar Rav says Rav says the Chiddush. We already had this, the concept before when we had the Rav Masna, who explained why b'di'evet if you took a haircut on the 30th day from the Naziris is 30 days, why if you took a haircut on day number 30 is good enough. So he said because miksayim kekulei, unless you clearly said 30 days. If you instead of saying hareini nozer, you said hareini nozer shleishim yom, it's extra. Must be you want to say shleishim yom shleimin. You want 30 whole days. Then you cannot take a haircut in the middle of the day. So Rav comes along using the same theory of miksayim kekulei, and it went day number 70. But the chiddush here is that one day can be counted for two separate days. The morning will be part of the 70, and the afternoon will start your 30. So Amarav Yom Shivim, the 70th day, that's when the child was born. Let's say 12 o'clock in the day during the day. It counts as day number 70 for your first 70 days, and it counts as day number 1 for the next 30. So according to those Rishonim hold that it's concurrent, that's it. You finish day number 100, it's all over. Or the other ones, you do your 30 because you have 30 days, so it's enough time for your hair to grow, and then you do the other 30 to make up for the 70. So now, the Gemara says, what are you talking about? In our mission, it says, only up to 70. Right? You tell me one day can be counted at both. Is good in music. It's not like hipsikum. I actually gained. Because if day number 70, the child was born, day number 70 became day number 1. So the Mishnah should not have said, I didn't lose anything out if it was 70. I gained a day. I don't have to go till day 101 to bring the Kabbalah. I can bring the Kabbalah, say day 100. You're right. The Mishnah should not have said until 70. But in Mishum Diktani Sefer, I want to tell you, because really day number 70, not till 70 means 69. According to that, 70 is also good. Right? Because we say part of the day is one day and part of the day is another day. So he said, because the Sefer wants to say, but Achashim after 70, so you say you no longer have 30 days left, but therefore Shivim, Tani Leja Shivim. Because the Sefer, you don't have 30 days left, so therefore we say, Achashivim, day 71, so therefore we use the word here 70. Says he, what are you talking about? Toshman, the Sefer, no, Shivim. It doesn't make sense. According to you, day number 71 is still good because day number 71, if the 71 is born, 71 counts as day number 1. So day number 30 is day number 100. So what's the problem? Why Taka says it? It's even 71 is good. So you must say you're right. My achar. Acha means not day number 71, it means day number 72. Then you have a problem. So no matter what, Aval Acha Mamish, but we're taking literally the Mishnah, the day after 70, day number 71, my Hachin Am Leisasis, because day number 71, you're telling me half the day counts as day number 1. No, the whole mission makes sense. You told me that Aisha could have Sefer. The Sefer Gubba doesn't make sense. The Sefer should not have said Acha Shivim. It should have said Acha Shivim Ve'echad. That's when you have a problem. Afilu Acha Shivim Nami. You tell me that even day number 71, which 71 is really day number 1. It's day number 71 from the first lot, but it's day number 1 from the second lot. Perfect. Clearly that our Mishnah does not agree with Rav. No, so if Rav doesn't agree with our Mishnah, even though we have an expression of Rav Tanu Polug, we don't use that unless we have no choice. So who does Rav? Rav has to find another Tanu who agrees with him. You're right. That the Mishnah clearly means Achamamish literally, and our Mishnah definitely does not come out like Rav. No, so Rav came out on L'shmaitis. So who does Rav? Which Tanu is Rav following? Like Abashol. Remember, we had a whole Gemara in Moed Katan. Now, halacha is not like Abashol or the Mishnah, but halacha is that if somebody sat shiva, even 5 minutes, even just took your shoes off, before Yom Tov cancels the shiva. And then we said that if you sat 7 days before Yom Tov and then you went to the 8th day, so you cancel also the shloshim. So but this Bryce here holds you need 3 days of shiva before Yom Tov will cancel the shiva, because the first 3 days, remember the first 3 days is different rule than the second 3 days. First 3 days you don't talk to anybody and everything else. So Abba Shol, the following Mishnah, and maybe Abba Shol is the one who says that 1 day can be counted as 2 days. What half of the day can be counted as last week's and half of the day can be counted as next week's, because that's Rav's Chiddush. So we say as follows. That now we learned Hakoivis Mesa. It doesn't matter, we already had it before in Masna as well. But you have 2 Naziris, and we said that day number 30. I'm not sure why the Gemara here doesn't bring that to prove this concept of Rav, that 1 day can be counted as 2 days. Half of it yesterday and half of it tomorrow. I don't know. Now we learn the Mishnah Hakoivis Mesa Shleishim Yom Kain the Regel. If you bury your mace 3 days before Yom Tov, so Yom Tov cancels. According to this Mishnah, it has to be 3 days before Yom Tov. Shmoini Yom Kain the Regel. If you were 8 days before Yom Tov, so you had your shiva and you had 1 day of your shloshim outside the shiva. So this Tana holds you need 8 days. This Tana says, okay, why are we going to suspend shloshim? Because we want you to prepare yourself for Yom Tov. So you're allowed to take a haircut, even though shloshim you're not supposed to take haircuts, but we're going to permit you to take a haircut because it's Erev Yom Tov. But what happened in you didn't take a haircut. Nobody showed us you have no respect for Yom Tov. So why in the world should Yom Tov take away your shloshim? Then also the sapat achar regel. And even after Yom Tov, the shloshim comes right back. The only reason why we suspend shloshim is so you can prepare yourself for Yom Tov, but you demonstrated that you have no respect for Yom Tov, so you're not getting it back. Abba Shol says no. He says no, that the shloshim gets canceled even if he did not take a haircut at Yom Tov. You can't take a haircut after Yom Tov. Why? Because he says just like we just said before, if you had 3 days shiva and then you came across Yom Tov, Yom Tov cancels the balance of shiva. Kach mitzvahs shiva. What does Baba Shol say? That if you had full 7 days, you don't need 8 days. If you had 7 days before Yom Tov cancels it. Why would Yom Tov cancel it? Because the 7th day in the morning, mitzvah Yom Kikula, you finished your shiva. Then the afternoon you started your shloshim, and therefore Yom Tov came in your shloshim and canceled it. So what is Abba Shol telling us? That 1 day can be split in half. Part of it is considered yesterday, and part of it is tomorrow. My time with Abba Shol, he holds Shvi He holds that the 7th day can be counted as backwards in time for Shiva and also forward. So what's that ayah? Dilma ad kind of come. This is a bit cooler, right? To say 1 day can be split into 2. Ad kind of come Abba Shol el ba'veila zayin drabanan. Only by Avelis. Okay, Machlekes is showing him the first day of Avelis is not Torah, is it the 9th day, whatever. But the 7 days definitely is only with Rabbanan. Okay, the whole Avelis is Rabbanan, so we'll be lenient, and Shleishim is definitely Rabbanan. So we'll be lenient, and we're going to say, you know what, 1 day can be counted as 2, half of it yesterday, half of it tomorrow. Avol ben Nazir, the Araisa, Nazir is from the Torah. Where do you find that 1 day should count for 2 Nazirison? For yesterday's, for the 70, and for the 30 for your son. Loy, how do you know? So where's that most Chiddush from? El Rav, the Amar Rabbi Yasi. You're right. Rav is not following Rabbi Shaul, he's following Rabbi Yossi. What's the story of Rabbi Yossi? The Tanya, the rule is as follows. When it comes to a male Zov, he has emissions. If he only saw for one by a male, it's not a question of time, it's a question of sightings. If he only had one sighting, then he just has to be, one day and that's it. But if he had two sightings or three sightings, he becomes tamei for 7 days. He has to make sure it's clean for 7 days, no more emissions. The only difference between two sightings and three sightings is whether he brings a carbon at the end of the 7 days or not. But by a woman, it has to do with days. So if a woman, it's called tremeres yom keneged yom. So the way it works by a woman is that a nida for the first 7 days of every cycle, if she sees dam, she has tummy. She can see dam all the time, doesn't matter. Come day number 7, she does hefsek tyra. If the blood has stopped, then she is Torah, she can go to mikveh that night. Then from day number 8 to day number 18, so for those 11 days, it's considered outside of her cycle, and that's called a zava. So if she is a zava, she sees outside of the cycle, then the rule is as follows. If she only saw it 1 day or even 2 days, which means that he just has to then wait 1 complete day to make sure that she's tired. She can go to the mikveh in the morning. When it comes to a zava, you don't have to go to the mikveh at night. You can go to the mikveh during the day, it doesn't matter, but she has to make sure that she remains tired, and then she's tired. If she saw 3 consecutive days, then she becomes a full-blown ziva and zava, and she is coming out for 7 nikiyim. She has to make sure that she's 70 days. And today, all b'nai Yisrael are machmer them that always machmer take all the chumras of a nida and of a zava. So Rabbi says as follows. Let's say she saw 1 day and she's a shemeres yom. Let's say she saw you gimel nissen. She's already given this. So you dollar this and at a Pesach, she has to make sure she's clean. Now we shech the Korban Pesach in the afternoon. You can only shech the people who are not tummy, and then you can eat at night. So what happened was she's a shemeres yom keneged yom. Sheshachti v'zarku leh b'sheni shalosh. She didn't see anything at a Pesach in the morning. She saw nothing. Came there early afternoon. Her family there was bringing a Korban Pesach. They had her in mind. She was counted amongst everybody. She was counted amongst everybody else. Okay, so at the time when they shechted, she was clean. But 4 o'clock in the afternoon, suddenly she had an emission. Now, so what's pshat? Is it retroactive? That means she was never tired in the first place, which will create a push of pshat she wasn't, and therefore nothing. Come look at Yeji says, Hareizu einay chelis. Obviously, she now has to wait another. She's tummy. She cannot eat. She has to wait another day. She's tired. So that night, Pesach by night, she can't eat her Pesach. But since at the time when they brought the Korban Pesach, she was tired. What do you mean? That means that we take. What's the logic? If she saw in the afternoon that she's tummy, what do you mean she was tired 2 o'clock, but 4 o'clock told us that she was tummy the whole time? Must be that Rabbi Yossi holds mixed the yanker kule. The morning she didn't see, she's tired. So 2 o'clock in the afternoon when they brought the Korban Pesach, she was tired. 4 o'clock she saw it's a new sighting. This goes. So we see we could take 1 day and these din in the Torah. We take 1 day, we split it. Part of it is yesterday, part of it is tomorrow. My time is Rabbi Yossi. Lam is hold mixed the yanker kule. Now, there's a lot of Gisayis say we'll do the Gisayis that most of the Shayim learn, and we skip the Ma'adim. Mishum the Kasava we hold Mikan Labo Metame. He says that it's not retrospective. He says the morning you approve mixing the Kula, you approve in your Torah. So as far as yesterday's emission you saw, we very cleansed you from that. So therefore, the Korban Pesach you brought was good. 4 o'clock you saw again, it's a new Indian. That's where Rav gets us from. Says the Gemara, what are you talking about? You're telling me that he holds that what you see in the afternoon is a new Indian and it's going to get forward. Me saw, but Rabbi Yossi, you hold that. But Tanya, we learned clearly that Rabbi Yossi, Eimer, Zav Bao Stadi, the male saw 2 sightings. Sheshachtu v'zarka Allah b'shvi, and they shechted him. So 2 sightings, he's still tired. Just they shechted him a 7th day. V'chein shemeres yom keneged yom. She saw your gimel and your dalet. She had to observe to see whether she spots again. Sheshachtu v'zarka, but they brought a Korban Pesach at that moment. They were all right. The achikachro, and afterwards, the male or the female they saw. As far as Tumah is concerned, anything that she touched or he touched, it's retrospective. In other words, clearly it is retrospective. Their example being Pesach Sheni. So you're telling me the whole logic is that you cleaned up yesterday's, Tumah. It's a new thing now. It's a new start. That's what you want to say, like Rav. But it's clearly not so because he's in the Tamil Mafreya. You're going to ask me, so how come the current pace of the Shach to the Rav? We'll see in a minute. Somebody answers back, nah. My friend, it's a chumid rabbanon. My Torah is not retrospective. My Torah part of the day is good enough. It's forward. But the rabbanon came along and said, you know what? Just like the first mission did, we're machmeh that all the tumors she touched since the last, since yesterday are all tamei. Some of the rabbanon. Amai pturin melasa pesach sheni. Otherwise, these sorry, skip the line. But it makes sense. In fact, you have no choice. Because if you can tell me it's retrospective, how is it possible that she'll be Yaitse with the Korban Pesach? That means she was Tamei when they shechted the Korban Pesach. These talk that Amai pturin melasa pesach sheni. Why she thought that she was Tamei Matayda? Must be the Matayda. She's not Tamei. But the Chumad Rabban says Gemara, no hech. You could learn that way, but I can learn another way. I can learn that Mefedish, it is retrospective, and we don't divide a day into half. No, so good question. So why are you Yechikon Pesach? Because we had a special din of Samachay in Psachim, which is called Tumas Hatahim. Tumas Hatahim is if nobody in the world knew about this Tumas that was buried there, it doesn't get contaminate you as far as current Pesach is concerned. If no one in the world knew, I mean, then we talked about if the body's on the ground or deep in the ground. This woman had no idea that she'll see again. It's like, according to Rabbi Yossi, it's like Tumas Hatohaim, because there's no way of predicting. Nobody in the world can say that because she saw yesterday, she'll see today. But the Torah says observe and watch. I mean, it's quite possible she won't see again. So it will treat it as if it's a Tumas Hatohaim, and that's why Miyum Lama HaTorah, she's Tamei, but the current pace are still going to say. The Gemara, Lo Tumah Deraisa, Tahaim de Ziva Hitiru, that Rabbi Yossi holds that the Ziva is like a Tahaim, and we'll match it. Then what it says, the Afra, and this concept that we metame lemafreya, and like Rav that we split the day, I'll find another Tana learns the way. Rabbi Aisha saw lemafreya midrabanan. Rabbi Aisha also says that this is lemafreya is only midrabanan. It's not Tana learns. Rabbi Aisha says, Haroy is of b'shvi shaloi. If it's Haroy is, let's say, okay, Haray is Zoiv. B'shvi Shalai on the seventh day, Seiser Eshel of fun, right? So you're supposed to count 7 clean days. On the 7th day, you saw cancel everything. That's what Rabbi Yisha said. Comes along Rabbi Yechon and says, Lo nister el yomer. No, you only cancel that 7th day. Now, what's up, Pshat Rabbi Yechon? Manush. If you hold that is the 7th day, is a steer. No, if you tell me Mitzvah Yom Kula in the 7th day, therefore in the morning you're ready, that's it. You don't have to have 7 complete days. Mitzvah Yom Kula, you're completely clean. So if you saw in the afternoon, why does it say anything? It's a new day. They Kula, and unless you tell me you don't believe Mitzvah Yom Kula, therefore you recite that day. If you say that day, you say all 7. Nothing. You're right. Rabbi Yechon is saying, Rabbi Yechon says, I believe that it's not so anything because Mitzvah Yom Kulei, that morning already you were tired. You didn't say anything, you're tired. And you saw in the afternoon, okay. Rabbi Yossi said to him, Rabbi Yossi Kai Kavasa. So Rabbi Yossi made a comment, Rabbi Yechon, and your thing, what you're saying about Mitzvah Yom Kulei, that the morning taste is yesterday, and what you see in the afternoon is tomorrow. That's exactly like Rabbi Yossi, like we just said before. Rabbi Yossi holds the gay this woman that the Shech the Korban Pesach is good enough, and she sees blood afterwards. That's for the future. The Amar who says Mekanol Habom Tame. In other words, Rabbi Yossi understood Rabbi Yossi the way Rav understood Rabbi Yossi. How can you say Rabbi Yossi holds the divided day in half? So why is it Tame whatever she touched in the morning or last night? But Rabbi Yossi Lemafrei Hud Amar. So we see Rabbi Yossi learned in Rabbi Yossi exactly the same like Rav learned. So Rav's chiddush of taking one day and dividing it, part of it is yesterday, part of it tomorrow, even though it's a din in the Torah, we have precedence. That's a very interesting question. Rabbi Yossi, Mechdi, let me understand. Rabbi Yossi has mechadish that mitzvah yom kulei. How is it ever possible? Zova gemura the ma'aseh korban hechem eskachla. How can you ever be a zova? How can you ever be a zova? Why? Kivan the chazar palva the yemes. What happened? She saw Monday. Comes Tuesday, 11 o'clock in the morning. She saw, right? And then Wednesday she saw. We say she's a zova mahatayit, right? But according to Rabbi Yossi, Monday morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, or Sunday night, as soon as it came night, she didn't see then. Mitzvah Yom Kulei. She already became tired. She saw the next day, 11 o'clock. It's a new day. So every time she sees, it's a new day. How can you ever get accumulation, an aggregate of 3-day consecutive days? Keeping the chazi b'pal with the yom, either pal yom or with shimmer. The other half a day is like shimmer. In other words, the way most Israelis learn, like I say, most Israelis learn that only talking about the morning. As long as the morning part you were tired, that it cleanse you out. Taisa learns even if she saw in the morning, if in the afternoon part she was tired, she's tired. And then Taisa says only if the very early morning and the very late afternoon she saw, then we don't count it in between. But the beginning and the end, either one, mixing and cooling, she cleanses her out. When it gives 2 answers. In other words, according to Rabbi Yossi, basically it's almost impossible to be a zova matzah. He boys the koshafa tlasa 3 consecutive days it didn't stop flowing constantly. That's the only time she can be a zova. Or the chaziyat plus a yom sambal shkiz chame. She the lahavish shahus the salgam. She saw the end of one day and right in the beginning of the next day. So therefore, and end of the next day and beginning of the next day. So therefore, the critical times, she saw. The rest of the day she didn't see. So this takes us till